What are some of the most important things that everybody seeking to buy a land in Cameroon must understand before they even start the buying process? Many land problem in Cameroon does not start after buying land. It starts even before the buying process begin. Why? Because many people go on buying land without understanding the necessary thing they need to know before they get into any transaction. And as a result of this, they fall into fraud, into scam, they take high risks, make poor investment decision which cost them presently and in the future. In order to help people avoid this kind of mistake, I am making this video to give you the necessary basics. Like, this is the basics of the basic knowledge that anybody who wants to buy land in Cameroon must at least know before they go forward to meet any agent to tell them that they want to buy a land, or to meet anybody to tell them that they want to buy a land. If you are somebody that is buying land for the first time, or if you are somebody that have bought land before and has fallen into problem, and you are seeking what you need to know in order for you not to commit that same error, then you are in the right place. Even if you are somebody that have been buying land before, this video is still for you, because by watching this video you might get some insight that you never had before, which will help you in your future deals. I am Amaziah Tatapon, your real estate consultant, who is here to help you make the right decision. As we are talking about land, it will be good for us to first of all know what is land. When we are talking of land, it is the solid, dry surface of the earth that is not covered by water. That is what land is. Land fall under a higher category of classification called real estate. And what is real estate? Real estate in simple terms is land and anything that is found on that land. So house is real estate, shops are real estate, trees are real estate. Anything that is found on land that is immovable is what we call real estate, or immobilier in French. Regarding the classification of land, there are different types of land. We can classify land according to the purpose for which the land is used, or we can classify land according to the ownership of the land. When we are talking about land according to the purpose, we can have residential land, which are land that are meant for housing, for residential purposes, right? We can also have commercial land, which are land that are meant for business purposes, offices, hotel, restaurants, and many other business or commercial activities. We can also have agricultural land, which is a type of land that are used for crop production, rearing of animal, and many other agricultural practices. We can also have industrial land, which are land that are meant for industrial purposes, like constructions of factories, warehouses, and many other industrial purposes. We also have restricted land, which are meant for government purposes, like military camps and all this kind of thing, which are highly restricted from the public, right? These are the various type of land that we can have according to the purpose. So a land that is meant for building might not necessarily be used for construction. In Cameroon, there is what they call zoning. Zoning is just a process whereby government allocate a particular purpose to a piece of land. So the government can say that this piece of land here can only be used for construction. You cannot use this for industrial purposes. You cannot use it maybe for commercial purposes. You cannot use this for agricultural purposes. So there are land that are zoned, and the government can also say this piece of land here is meant for agricultural purposes. You cannot use this for building construction. You cannot use this for commercial purposes. If you want to use this land, it is only for agricultural purposes. So whenever you want to buy a piece of land, it's always good to know if there is zoning that exists on that land. What can I do with this land? Can I build on this land? Can I maybe farm on this land? Can I do business on this land? Because when the government zone a particular piece of land, if you work against the zoning criteria, they can restrict that land, or they can seize that piece of land from you, or they can stop you from doing whatsoever thing you want to do with the land. So whenever you want to buy a land, find out and see if the purpose for which you want to use the land is permitted by the state, is permitted by the law. If it is not permitted, then better not buy that piece of land than to buy a piece of land maybe for construction, and when you want to construct, the government say no, you cannot construct in this area because it is zoned for industrial purposes. You know, industrial zone, depending on the kind of activity that is being done on that land, there are certain toxic products that some industrial manufacturing company produces, or waste that comes out from machines, and some of those wastes are toxic to human beings. So the government will not want anybody to live near the area where this kind of activity is. They can contaminate the soil, they can contaminate water, they can even contaminate the air. So it is always very important to know if there is zoning on a land before you go forward and buy it. If there is no zoning on the land, then you by analyzing yourself, you can see, depending on the area where you are, and determine if what you want to do with that land will match that area. Now, we also said that when it comes to land classification, we can classify land by ownership. Now, when it comes to the classification of land by ownership, we have private lands, which are land that are owned by individuals, and this land has title. They have land certificate, and it is an individual or an organization that has this piece of land, and they have all the legal capacity or the legal right to use that land, transfer that land, or manage that land in any way that is permitted by the law. Never step on a private land, because when you step on a private land without the permission of the owner, that person can file a complaint against you, and you are going to pay for venturing on somebody's land without their permission. Now, we also have customary or family land. Customary or family lands are land that belongs to a community or maybe to a family. Like we can come in the city of Boya, we go maybe in the community of Bokwango. We see that there is a particular land that belongs to that community. It does not belong maybe to an individual, but it belongs to the community, and is being managed by the chief of the community and the various notables or leaders in that particular community. It belongs to them. So it is the chief and the leader of that community that has total power over that land, and that can either decide to sell that land or exploit that land in whatsoever way. There are also family lands. Now, family lands are lands that belongs to a family. It can either be by birth, it can either be by heritage, or by whatsoever means, right? You will go in some places that are going to tell you that this land belongs to this family, it belongs to that family. Those are lands that exist in Cameroon. And another type of land that exists in Cameroon are state land. These are land that belongs to the government and have been reserved for government purposes, projects like schools, universities, hospitals, parks, and many other things that the government wants to do with it. Now, when you want to buy land, one of the safest land to buy is a private land, because with that land, you have legal security at the highest level on that land. But a customary land is a land that does not have a land title, but which belongs only to the community. It is just being known communally, right? But it does not have a title which proves supreme ownership over a particular piece of land. Never buy a land that belongs to the state, right? Because state land are really restricted land. Never buy them unless the government itself send out a notice that they are selling their land. Then in that case, you can buy it. Now, after understanding what is land, the various type of land in Cameroon, it is also good and indispensable for us to know the various land documentation. When it comes to land documentation, the first document that you need to know is what they call the land title or land certificate, or titre foncier in French. What is a land title? a land title is just a legal document connected to land ownership recognition. So this is the highest document that proves land ownership in Cameroon. It is being issued by the state to an individual recognizing that this piece of land belongs to this person and that this person has total right and authority to exploit this piece of land as permitted by the law. And when you have a land title that has been issued to you, even the government cannot take that piece of land from you without due legal compensation, right? So when you have a land title, you even have superiority over the government, right? If they need to do anything on your land, they need your permission for them to be able to do that, and they need to compensate you adequately. This is very important. Many people, they have land, but they do not have title. When you don't have a land title, the thing that you can do with your land is very limited. When you have a land title, that land title can permit you to take loans from the bank and many other things. There are certain things that you cannot do with your land if you do not have a land title attached to it. So this is a very important document that everybody needs to strive to have when it comes to owning land. The next document that you need to know about when it comes to land is what they call a deed of conveyance. A deed of conveyance is a legal binding document used to transfer ownership, titles, or right over a piece of land from one person to another. So when you maybe buy a land and you want to transfer the ownership from the owner of that person to you, one of the documents that has to be done is what they call a deed of conveyance. And this document is being done by a lawyer or by a notary. It is a legal document. When you have this document, it is being done in the right way, you can at least prove that you have legal ownership over that land. But a deed of conveyance is not as powerful as a land title or as a land certificate. So even though we will have a deed of conveyance, it's always good for you to have a land title, right? This is very important. Then there is also what they call a chief attestation, which is a document that is being issued by a chief to someone. Maybe when you buy a community land from the chief, or when maybe the chief give a land to you, or like now in Cameroon, the government now permit a chief of third degree to be able to issue what they call in French attestation de jouissance paisible de terre. So which is a document that is just like a temporal land title that is being issued to individuals to give them the capacity to use their land for a short while, like 5 years period of time, while waiting for them to do their land title. So this one does not denote permanent ownership, it just denotes what? Temporal ownership. And this is not the supreme document. It's being issued to you by chiefs. You need to go and do the deed of conveyance, you need to go and do the land title. This is very, very important. There is also what they call a sales agreement or a transfer of ownership or a simple sales agreement. This document is just like a deed of conveyance, but it is not being done in the presence of a lawyer or a notary. It is being done maybe by individuals themselves or by chief or by whosoever, right? You can just say, this person, I signed that, I've transferred ownership over this piece of land to this person, and then from today, this person is the one owning this land and all the rest. That's just a simple sales agreement. The person who is selling the land agree that he transfer ownership right of that land to another person. In the French section of Cameroon, there is this document that they call attestation d'abandon de droit coutumier. So this is just like a document called attestation of the abandonment of customary right, and this document is being done by chiefs to show that this person abandoned the right that they have over this document to this person, and these are usually being done in the presence of witnesses, right? This is very important. Now another document is payment agreement. This is now a document that when you do, this is when you usually deposit money cash physically when you are paying a piece of land, or even electronically or through bank. It is the person signing that he accepted this amount of money from this person at this time, maybe through bank or physically or this, and the person signed with their name. This is very important. Another kind of document that is now also very important is what we call a survey plan. What is a survey plan? It is a legal binding document that is being done by a licensed or a registered surveyor, showing the exact boundaries, the coordinate, and the size of a land. This document is very, very important. You cannot have a land title without doing this document, and it's not being done by any kind of person. It is a registered surveyor signed in the National Order of Surveyors that do this thing, not any kind of person, right? This is very important. And then there is also a document that is called a site plan. What is a site plan? In simple terms, it's just a document that shows the geographical area where a land is located, right? It shows also the boundaries of the land. It shows the layout of the land. It shows the features of the land. It can maybe show other things that are surrounding the land, the route leading to the land, the kind of building that are there. It is a sketch that is being drawn by a designer or by an architect, showing the layout of a land, how a land look like. That is in simple terms what a site plan it is. All these documents are very important for you to have when you want to buy a land. They are very, very important. All of them have power in different orders. Something like a land title is the most powerful, and then the deed of conveyance is now coming after the land title. A survey plan is also very important. You cannot have a land title without this, so you must have it. And a site plan is also very important. Now, some people in Cameroon, due to their limited financial capabilities, are unable to do land certificate, because land certificates are expensive in Cameroon, right? Depending on the surface area of the land, depending on the kind of project you want to do with the land certificate can range up to 600,000 to 1 million and even more. So some people, due to their limited financial capacities, are unable to do the land title. But I will advise you, even if you cannot do the land title at the moment, it is good for you to save and at least do the deed of conveyance. It is also a legal document that will give you at least certain degree of confidence that you are the owner of that land. But when you do only a simple sales agreement, it is not a legal document. It will give you just a little right, but not a total right, or not even a supreme or higher right legally, as a deed of conveyance will do for you, right? So it's always good at least to do this. So always involve notaries or lawyers in all your land transactions. This is very, very important. And when you do all this, you are going to have a higher level of safety when it comes to real estate in Cameroon. Now, there are some simple terms that I would like you to know when it comes to real estate in Cameroon. One of the most important terms that even if you know only this one, it is going to be good for you, is what they call due diligence, which is just the investigative and verification process that someone does when you want to buy a land. Will you like land ownership in Cameroon is not something that is verbal. It is something that is documentary. So there are a lot of due diligence, there are a lot of investigation, a lot of searches that you have to do whenever you want to buy a land. Searches about who is the owner of this land, whether what are the documents that this land possesses, which type of land does this land fall under, right? You do due diligence, like investigation. Are there court cases that are existing about this land? What are the ownership history of this land? Have there ever been dispute about this land? Is this land been leased or mortgaged? These are things you want to know. Is this a family land? And if it is a family land, who has the right backup of the capacity to be able to decide if this land will be sold or not, right? You investigate. You also investigate about the boundaries. What is the real boundary of this land? What are the limits of this land, right? Have there ever been boundary dispute before on this particular piece of the land? Where is it located? Is this land accessible, right? These are very important things. I've done a whole video about the things that give value to a piece of land. I would like you to go and watch that video because it will educate you enough. This is just like a land 101 lecture that we are doing here. There are other videos that I've done on my channel that you can go and you watch that video, and it's going to give you a lot of benefit, right? So due diligence is one of the most important things you need to know. Now there is also a word like allocation. What is allocation? It's just a process whereby a land is being assigned to somebody or is being granted to somebody. So if, for example, you buy a land for me to allocate that land means I've assigned that land to you, I've granted that land to you. That from now this land belongs to this person. That is allocation, right? So these are some simple terms that you need to know when it comes to land in Cameroon. These are not everything. There are many other terms that you can go and you learn, but at least know these two terms, right? There is also what we call mutation, which is the transferring of ownership after land acquisition. This is a term that is also good for you to know, right? So I think some of the terms that will be good for you to know, we've already spoken about them. There are other terms you can go and you learn, which will also be good and useful for you. Now, we are going to be talking about the important people you should never ignore whenever you want to buy a land. If you ignore this, you are taking a very big risk which is going to backfire against you. Never ignore these people. Some people, because they want to save money, they don't want to spend, they ignore these people. See, some of these people are regretting today because the money that they save, they have spent maybe 2 times more than that money to go to court cases. The time that they say, no, we don't have time to do all these things, they have spent years trying to resolve cases. Do not make this kind of mistake. Whenever you want to buy a land and you want to do it in a safe way, always go and see these people. They will help you a lot. The first person that you need to see is a legal professional. Always go and look for legal consultation or for consultation of a lawyer when you want to buy a piece of land. Ask for advice. They will tell you what you have to do, what you don't have to do, the various process you have to follow for you to be able to buy land legally and have legal security over that piece of land. And even when you want to sign your document, your land transfer agreement, always bring them there. They should come and do the deed of conveyance for you. They will charge you, yes, but that charging is going to be security for you. You are paying for your peace. Just go and pay it. Even if they ask you how much, pay it. It will save you a lot. You'll be able to sleep well if you've done the necessary due diligence. If you confirm the ownership, you confirm the accessibility, you confirm if there are disputes, you confirm the authenticity of the document. Because there are certain documents that are fake. It is a lawyer that will help you to determine those fake documents. But if you go and you skip a lawyer, they will give you a fake document. You yourself will not be able to verify those documents. And as a result of that, you are going to have problem. Always verify the authenticity of document. This is what they call due diligence, investigation, research that you are doing to see how authentic the process, the document are, the person are, and all the rest, right? I've made a video about mistakes not to do whenever you want to buy a piece of land. You can go and you check that video. It's going to really be very, very helpful to you. The second person that you have to see when you want to buy a land, it depends if it is a customary land, is a chief. Do not buy a customary land without seeing a chief. Like if I'm not mistaken, it's not at all possible to buy a customary land without the chief, right? Do not go and see them. Go and see them. They are the ones that have the right to sell customary land to you. Don't go and see a notable behind and then you sell the land to you. No, do not go and do that. Only the chief has the right to sell a land that is customary, right? Always go and see them. And when you see them, if possible to see the notables, also see them, because that is also going to help you avoid problem. If it is a family land, always see the family head and make sure that all the necessary members of the family that have right over that piece of land has come and have consented or agreed that you should buy that land. There are land that belongs to a family. It does not belong even to the family head. Yes, it's true, he's the head of the family, but he's not the alpha and omega when it comes to that land. The brothers, the sisters, the cousins, the aunties, they also have a say to the land. Go and see all of them. Let all of them consent, sign and written and give you that we've accepted that this man should sell this land to us. Is going to be something that is very good and is going to help you a lot. Another person that you have to see whenever you want to buy a land is a licensed surveyor. A licensed surveyor is the only person that is eligible to provide a survey plan for you. So if you go and buy land without going and seeing them, you are wasting your time. And don't only see any kind of surveyor. See those that are licensed, those that are registered in the National Order of Surveyors. This is important because there are surveyors that are not registered. They cannot give a good thing to you, right? They think that they will will do to you will not be valid by the state. And that is how some people might find themselves redoing everything the second time because they wanted to save money or because of this. See, when you want to buy land, and there is nothing like saving money. Follow the right procedure and do the right thing, and you are going to be at peace. Do the contrary at your own inconvenience, right? That is it. Another person that you don't have to neglect it. These people are very powerful, are the neighbors. See, never neglect neighbors when you want to buy the land. It is the neighbor that will open your eyes to things that those people are selling the land are hiding to you. They are the one that will tell you that there is a dispute. They are the one that will tell you that this person does not have the right to sell this land. They are the one that will tell you that this land have already been sold to other people before. They are the one that will give their concern, right? You need neighbors. Let them come, search, go and look for them. Ask them information. Even if you can maybe motivate them, then do it, right? If they ask you motivation, then motivate them for them to be able to give you the information. Because one simple information that a neighbor can give you can save you forever from millions of deals and also from future of suffering, hatred, and headache and court cases. Go and see the neighbor, especially those people who have land around the area that you are interested in buying. Let them give you the history of that particular land. And if maybe you come the neighbor as somebody that just bought the land also, go and look for the ancient neighbor who know the history of that land and see them, right? These are very important people you don't want to neglect. Another person that you have to see are what? Witnesses. Never buy land alone. This is the worst thing you can do, to buy land alone. You always need witnesses. You need witness. You need people to see, to testify that in this day, at this time, this person bought this piece of land from this person at this location. I was there. I saw it. He gave that money. The person accepted that he's going to buy that land. When you do like this, when there's going to be difficulty tomorrow, they will come and testify for you. They will come and witness for you, and that is going to help you. But when you go behind you and you buy a land because you say, I don't want anybody to know that I am buying a land, I want to do discreet thing, then like, let me first of all laugh. Then you will learn tomorrow, right? So do not do that. Always look neighbors. Always look witnesses. And look for people who are very honest. Look for people who are men of integrity. Not look for people who have two mouths. Somebody that are easily corruptible. Look for people who are honest people, who are not moved by money, who are truthful people. These are the best people to witness for you. And at times, always look for people that are not member of your family. Because if you bring member of your family to witness for you, somebody can say you've corrupted them, you bribe them, and they are coming and witnessing for you. Look maybe for neighbors, people that maybe does not have any interest in the land, but who knows the history of the land, and who have higher weight for them to be able to witness about you, right? Regarding that, look for those kind of people. Witness are very, very important, right? And neighbors at times are the best people to witness when you are buying a piece of land. When we are talking about neighbors here, we are not talking about your neighbors. We are talking about neighbor to the person that has that land, or neighbor to that land that you want to buy, or neighbor to that house or building or property or anything that you want to buy. People who are neighboring that land place and they have very good idea of the history. Those are the best neighbor you have to bring for them to witness for you. See, the real estate market in Cameroon is really a black one. It's full of fraud. It's full of scammers. It's full of people pretending to be who they are not. It's full of people bringing wrong document, fake document to come and buy things from people. In fact, it's full of wolves. And you have to be very careful when you want to buy land here in Cameroon. Here, I'm going to give you some of the red flags, things that whenever you see somebody present, when they are selling a piece of land to you, you have to run away, because that thing, those people can tomorrow cause you problem. The first red flag is pressure for urgent payment. When you want to do land transaction with somebody and that person is just pressing you that pay, be very careful with that person. Be very careful with that person, because at times it can be a scam. At times it can be something that is having multiple buyers. At times it can be a procedure that is not legal, it's illegal. Like, there are some hidden things that can be behind that pressure, right? At times it's true, some people are under difficulty, like maybe they have a patient in the hospital that they have to take care of, they have a loan that they have to pay immediately. If that is the actual thing, then we can understand that, right? But even if that is the actual thing, you have to take time to do your necessary due diligence before you go and pay. Because like, one of the problems in land in Cameroon is not about fraud. One thing is that you can buy a land that is inconvenient for you. Best process or the best purpose why you need to use that land. I have explained a whole lot about this in the video on the value of land. Go and watch that video if you have not yet done so, right? You are going to gain a lot of knowledge about this. So always do your necessary due diligence. Don't buy land under pressure. You see someone that is pressurizing you, be careful with that person, right? The next thing is refusal to provide document. If you want to do land transaction with somebody, you ask the person the necessary document for that land and the person is refusing to give to you, be very careful. That can be a scam or a fake document or fake transaction. Be very careful. Don't do transaction with somebody that does not want to provide the necessary document for you to be able to verify its authenticity. Do not do transaction with them. One thing that you have to do is inconsistent ownership story. Maybe somebody will come and tell to you, the land belongs to my father. No, it belongs to my mother. No, it belongs to my elder brother. No, it belongs to my friend. No, it belongs to this. No, 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 no. When you already start seeing those kind of story, that is a red flag. Just retract yourself from that transaction as soon as possible, right? As soon as possible. Another red flag is unclear boundaries. When you want to buy land from somebody and you ask, where is the limit of the land, where is my boundary, the person said that no, maybe the boundary was here, yeah? No, maybe it was here, no land, like no, 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 no. Don't buy land with unclear boundaries, because at time when you buy this kind of land, tomorrow the place that the person showed you, the neighbor will come and tell you that no, this person is lying, this maybe the boundary instead ended by here, and it's going to cause conflict. Court cases can arise only as a result of this boundary issue, eh? Like, see, there are people that maybe are even ready to kill because of boundary issue. So be very careful about this. Let the person show you the clear boundary. Where are the boundary? Where are the limit of my land? Where does it start? Where does it end? You need to know everything. It is your land. And if possible, when the person show you, you should put beacons or pillar there to show that, okay, this is the boundary and you need to do this with licensed surveyor and also with administrators. This is very important, right? One thing now that you also need to be very careful about is extremely cheap land. Maybe you see a land that is worth 10 million and they are selling it to you for 5 million, 3 million. Be very careful when you see extremely cheap land. Land that are cheap always usually have big traps like that behind them at times. So be very careful. When you see a land that is cheap and you don't have any valuable or convincing reason to tell you why that land is cheap, even though it ought to be at this particular price, do not buy them. You know, some of these scammers, when they want to scam people, they bring very cheap price, and when you buy at cheap price, tomorrow cases will start coming, and then that's how you're going to have problem. Be very careful when you are buying cheap land. Cheap land at times are dangerous, right? Very, very dangerous. There are also what we call hidden charges or unexpected fee. Maybe somebody will tell you that no, this land is worth this particular amount, the documentation fee is worth this amount, and tomorrow the person come and tell you different things. No, there is also this price, there is also that price. Be very careful. When you want to enter land transaction with somebody, ask them what are the various fees that need to be done. Tell me everything that I have to spend here. If there are documentation fee, tell me the documentation fee. If there are maybe administrative fee, tell me the administrative fee. But now some other people, they will just come and portray just the price of the land to you. They will tell you that the land has document, and then it is when you will buy the land that they will tell you that now you are the one that have to spend money for land title, you are the one that have to spend money for all this and that, right? It's true, some of these things are normal to do, but when some other fees are coming that you don't even know the sources of that fee, you have to be very, very careful. It can be scam, or it can be some fraud, or some, I don't know, some kind of mischievous things happening, right? Be very careful. All that red flags that you have to know is about the accessibility to the land. Don't buy a land that is not easily accessible unless you are planning to open the route yourself, right? It's always good to buy land that are accessible and land that are in good area, floody area, right? There are some areas that are very floody, that when it rains like that, in fact, everybody, you will not be able to sleep. You'll be sleeping but will rain on your bed. No, do not do that, right? So it's always good to be very careful about this so that you will not have problem. There are also what we call existing dispute about land. There are certain lands that are existing but that have dispute on the land. They have court cases on the land. They have lease. They have mortgages on the land. Be very careful about this, right? Cheap land can become very expensive when problems begin later. Be very, very careful. Always take your time. Do the necessary due diligence, and when you do due diligence, you see some of these red flags, just run away completely from that land, because you are going to put yourself in trouble tomorrow. Now, what is the mindset that you need to have when you want to buy land? Do not be that person that you buy land because of excitement. Maybe money just came to you, you don't know what to do. You say, I will take this money, I'll buy land. No, don't buy land because of excitement. Always take time to plan before you buy land. Like there is a video that I will be shooting on the various preparations you have to do before you buy any land in Cameroon. I would really like you to watch that video. You can subscribe to my channel so that when I will do the video, you are going to get notified about it, right? Don't buy land out of excitement. Don't buy land out of pressure. Don't buy land out of appearance. Don't buy land because of low price. Don't buy land because you see your friends buying land. Don't buy land because your parents are saying you have to buy land. Always make sure that you have clear reason for buying land, because a lot of people are regretting today the money they invested on the land because they bought it out of excitement. They bought it out of pressure. They see their friend are buying land, they want to buy land also, right? Do not buy land as a result of that. Always take time, be clear, right? You have to be very, very careful when you are buying land. Smart people, when they want to buy land, they analyze future developmental potential of that land. When you are buying land because of excitement, easily fall into the hand of scammers, right? Do not be calm, be posé when you want to buy any land and you are going to benefit from whatsoever thing you want to do, right? Irrespective of the reason why you want to buy land, always be calm and like take enough time to do the necessary due diligence that you want to buy. So this is just like a general overview, right? About what you need to know whenever you want to buy land. So some of the things that you need to analyze when you want to buy land is future development in the area, is the infrastructure growth, how growth is taking place in that area. It is the accessibility, how accessible that land is. It is also the security of the environment in which you are. It's also the location, the place where that land is found, right? These are things that you want to know. Even the composition or the nature of that land is also important when you want to buy the land. The usability of the land is important. I've made a video on this and you can really go and watch this video and it's going to help you a lot. All this wealth of information I've shared to you here, there are things that you do not need to neglect them. If you take this information, you are far more educated than one of the highest people that have been buying land, right? This information will empower you. So the information I've shared, do not play with this information. Land can create wealth, it can create security, it can create business opportunities, it can create long-term stability, it can create even family legacy. But when you do not take time to be able to do the necessary due diligence, to follow the right procedure to buy your land, it can create stress, it can create high blood, it can create court cases, it can create financial loss, it can create all sorts of things that you do not want, right? So it's always good to take your time, know the various things you need to know before you engage in any land process, and I've shared most of them to you in this video. If you practice all what I've shared to you here, it's really going to go a very long way in helping you make the right decision and also avoid scam, fraud, taking unnecessary risks, or making decisions that you are going to regret later. I am Amazaya Tatapong, your #1 real estate consultant. Thank you for watching this video. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, do well subscribe and like this video and share it to your friends, families who wants to buy land, so that they will not fall into some of these mistakes that a lot of people have fallen and are regretting today. See you in the next video.